course, Rob DeLore, and with me as always, Miss Di Marie. Di, what's going on?
Hi guys, happy to be back.
And the no longer new team member, Miss Jenna Say What? Jenna, hey, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
First of all, just want to say you did an awesome job on your debut the other day, and I think the reception, speaks for itself. I mean, I think people really love you being part of the team.
Yay,
So,
thank you guys.
and if you guys like us, be sure to like and subscribe on the Comic Book YouTube channel. Hit that like button because it really does help us get out to a better audience. All right. So we're actually going to start off with Top Jedi news. We'll start off with Di. Di, what's going on in Top Jedi this week?
So a new image for Halloween Kills has been released. So this will be hitting theaters on October 15th, 2021, finally. The image shows kind of a classic Mike Myers pose. His mask is kind of melted on his face, which makes sense from what happened at the end of the last movie.
Mm-hmm.
And he's wielding the classic bloody butcher's knife. So
I just got to say, I was part of the Halloween 2018 premiere. I was very privileged to interview Jamie Lee Curtis. Halloween is like my favorite horror film of all time. If you guys haven't noticed, I was born in 78. I feel like I was literally born ready for this movie, and I feel like I've been waiting forever. So I'm so excited for this to come out this year. I can't wait. Jenna, what's going on with Top Jedi this week?
So AT&T's Warner Brothers Media and Discovery are merging. So there is a lot of, questions and speculations and things. So basically they're going to be running with CNN, TNT, TBS, several other cable networks, HGTV, Food Network, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so there's a lot of questions going on as to like, what is the price going to be? Are they going to be like going up, going down? What's that going to mean for like the popular TV shows, which I think the popular TV shows are probably going to be a safe bet, because those are always kind of the safety net. But as far as like little shows, we may see some cuts. So, but that's all speculation as of right now.
Yeah, mergers are never a good thing, and I don't want to get too much in it. I'll leave it to the guys that do logistics. When it comes to the industry, like Robert Meyer Burnett. Shout out to Rob. But I'm very wary about this merger. I don't know where it's going. Just like all of us. I don't know if it's going to be better for, say, a company like DC. Don't know. But it seems like even now, like, that's supposed to actually happen in 2022. Mm-hmm. So I think, right now they've got so much great stuff coming out of the pipeline that I'm hoping that actually continues, with this actual merger. Like I said, I don't know anything about it. I am very wary though, because usually when a merger happens, like there's a lot of people getting hurt and there's a lot of changes happening.
And of course, like they're still in talks and stuff. So, I mean, we're only going to be able to wait and see.
Yeah, that's true. I just hope they don't make the guy from 90 Day Fiancé like the new Dark Side or something that would. So in Top Jedi news, we had some huge news. Today there was like just a deluge of news. It just came coming down, raining down all over your face, neck, and chest, as Kevin Smith would say. But we actually got some Fear Street news. If you guys are Fear Street kids, there was the Goosebump kids and there was the Fear Street kids. I was absolutely a Fear Street kid. So there's going to be a 3-part. There's a film series starting this summer that's actually going to be based in 3 different timelines in the town of Shadyside. It's going to be R-rated. I'm really super excited for this, and I don't know. This was announced like I think a couple years ago that they were going to do this. So now we're at the stage where we're finally getting it, and if that's going to take up our summer, I'm okay with it. Summer fever, always good. Especially Di, what's next in Top Jedi?
So the director of Crawl, Alexandra Aja, is reportedly working on a sequel. It looks like they're in the works to find the best sequel story to Crawl. Reportedly, he wants Crawl to be more about nature taking back what's due, more hurricane-driven, man versus animal. It seems like he wants the story to be more based on exploring human emotions and things like that. So we don't have a set date or anything like that. This is all in the works, but with the original crawl, it was working with a $13 million budget, and it did profit $91 million worldwide. So hopefully we get to.
I'm not, I'm not a huge Animal Attack fan. I actually mentioned that in my horror show that I did before this one. But that was one of my favorite movies of 2019. I was really, really surprised by that movie.
Same.
It was awesome. I had such a great time with it. And it's kind of a bummer that they're not bringing Haley, the main character, back, or her father. But I think Aja was saying that, he doesn't want her to be like a John McClane, like, okay, so how is she in this situation a second time,
Yeah.
I think he's leaning more towards the Final Destination franchise situation where you have different characters in each
expanding
portion or every chapter that they come out with, which is also cool. I just hope it doesn't wear out its welcome, because that movie, that first one, was really special, I think.
Yeah, it's hard to top off something that's that amazing, but I have faith that he'll come up with something awesome.
Aja's a great director, and if you got Sam Raimi behind you again, I mean that's a non-lose combination. So that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to hear more about it. So Jenna, what's next in Top Jedi?
So the trailer for The Long Halloween Part 2 just dropped today. And has got my boy Scarecrow in it, and like, of course he's in it for both of them, but it looks amazing. If you guys haven't seen it, please go check it out. It has Jensen Ackles as the voice of Batman, which perfect.
Yeah, and Naya Rivera, one of her final performances is Catwoman, which is going to be amazing to see her voice coming out of Catwoman.
Yep. I'm really stoked about this movie. It looks amazing. I'm biased with anything with Scarecrow, but he's my boy. I love him. I love the way that he's drawn. Poison Ivy looks perfect. So I'm really stoked about this movie. I think everybody's gonna really like it.
Well, I think there's two different camps when it comes to DC. I think there's a lot of people that feel like, DC films do wrong all the time, and there's people that feel like they don't do any wrong for the most part. But there's one thing you can never take away from DC. Those animated films are just gorgeous, and this one,
they are beautiful.
Looks amazing. It really does.
Oh yeah, everybody that's drawn in it is just like, it looks so beautifully done. It looks so beautifully done. So like, I'm very excited to see this.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised that they didn't use the Tim Sale artwork from the original graphic novel Long Halloween, but this looks cinematic, and it's smooth, and it's
very smooth. I really like it.
And I really hope that this, I know we're getting Robert Pattinson as the Batman next year, but put Jensen Ackles in the running for playing a real Batman, like on a TV show or something, anything.
Those pictures of him. Perfection.
So we've got some Batgirl news. Batgirl was something that's been kind of like batted around within the industry for, probably about 1.5 years, 2 years. They were actually going to release a film on HBO Max, and then the pandemic happened, and then it just kind of, went away for a bit. But they actually found directors for the Batgirl film, which is actually the directors for Bad Boys for Life, which, I thought it was a fun film. It was kind of had a supernatural slant to it a little bit, which was kind of odd. You weren't expecting that from a property like Bad Boys. I think these guys are, I think, cinematically, they shot Florida, in a very beautiful fashion. I think that they have, the action chops to be able to, to make something. And of course, the dramatic beats and stuff. I'm excited to see what they do with Batgirl. And honestly, if I had to cast Batgirl right now, I would only go with Sophia Lillis from the It series. She just seems like the perfect choice for me, especially if you're going for like a college age or high school age Barbara Gordon, because I don't think you'd start out with Oracle. There was no origin story for Batgirl. So I think Lillis would be awesome. I think she's young enough, and she's spunky, and she has done action set pieces before, and she's a great dramatic actress. I think she's perfect.
Very.
So something I'm very excited about. We finally have the actress who will be playing Wednesday Addams, and that will be Jenna Ortega. She was in The Babysitter, Killer Queen, You, Jane the Virgin, and Iron Man 3, to name a few. So I'm really excited to see how she's going to portray Wednesday.
Jenna, what's next in Top Jedi?
Kat Dennings and Andrew WK are engaged.
Yeah.
Yay, but also boo. There goes all my chances with Kat. No, my Marvel girlfriend is gone. Like, yeah, but yay for them. They look so happy. Their pictures are adorable. Like, oh, all my heart. Like they look so happy. And like, honestly, that is a great pairing.
Absolutely.
They're a very good looking couple.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I actually, when it comes to Andrew WK, I've just, like I heard, throughout the years, he's nothing but a really, good dude to his fans.
I've heard that too. Yeah.
I remember when Image Comics actually came out with like they originally were supposed to come out with a Friday the 13th series, a Nightmare on Elm Street series, and they ended up, cutting all that out. But he ended up doing the forward for the trade paperback for Friday the 13th comic series, and that's when I gained a lot of respect for Andrew. I was like, oh yeah, dude, this guy's a horror fan for sure.
Yeah, he is.
And I think Kat's definitely got a dark side too. So I think like that melding is just, man, that's like peanut butter and jelly, dude. That's perfect. And you're right. They look like, they look like they're happy. And I know a lot of hearts were broken this week on both sides of the fence. So. So next in Top Jedi, we want to talk real quick about Batman the Caped Crusader, which is actually an announcement that happened again today. This is Bruce Timm returning to Batman the Animated Series. It's fantastic. And, the fact that, he's working with J.J. Abrams and Matt Reeves, they're using the design work from the original Batman design from Bill Finger and, Bob Kane. It looks gothic. It looks wonderful. They said it was just going to be cinematic and huge in scope. And it's definitely going to be reminiscent for, people that loved Batman the Animated Series. And I'm super, super excited for that as a Batman fan. I can't wait for there was just an image, that was released today. He looks awesome. I can't wait for a trailer, more announcements when it comes to this thing. And there's really not too much to say about it. It's just really, really exciting. What's next in Top Jedi, Diana?
So the Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins teaser trailer was released. It's about 59 seconds long, and this will be released in theaters on October 23rd, 2021. This movie will be coming out from Paramount Pictures, and it will be starring Henry Golding as Snake Eyes, Samara Weaving, Peter Mensa, and Andrew Koji, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I was a G.I. Joe fan when I was a kid. I was not a fan of the movies. I mean, it looks pretty awesome, I guess. I'm just happy that Samara Weaving is just constantly like dominating properties. I'm so excited for her, for the most part. And I'm happy in, like in this world, where we have this ridiculous Asian hate thing going on, that these Asian characters are coming out of the woodwork. And I hope they are cultural phenomenons where people can, see something, from a different perspective and, and hopefully change their mind about, the feelings and hate that they have in their hearts and stuff. I mean, that's really the one thing that I wish for these properties, for sure. Like, that it has the same impact as say like a Black Panther, where everybody can love it just as much, and you know what I mean. But it means so much more to other people. But obviously, everybody can love it just as equally. You know what I mean? So next in Top Jedi, we had the MTV Movie Awards happen on Sunday. I was rooting for WandaVision the entire time, and it did not disappoint because Marvel dominated that award show. Along with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie won for Best Hero, which really does my heart a lot of good, considering that he just became Captain America. And the fact that Sam does say in that show, like, there's a lot of people that are going to hate me for this, but obviously that's not the case. A lot of people really love him in that role, so that's amazing. But WandaVision, won for Best Fight. Catherine Hahn won for Best Villain for Agatha Harkness. Best Television Show, I absolutely 100% agree with that. And to piggyback off of that, Elizabeth Olsen has been doing interviews recently. She just did one for Glamour Spain, and she had just mentioned that this is the thing that really makes me happy, because I think she's kind of in the same pocket as, say, Margot Robbie or somebody like that, where she finally feels like after 7 years of doing this character that she finally feels ownership when it comes to Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff. And she also said that there's going to be a huge secret surprise reveal that she hopes the fans are really excited about. There's going to be a tie-in with Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness and WandaVision. And a lot of people were speculating that obviously that was going to be the thing, but we weren't sure, but yeah, it's absolutely true. It's going to be connected to WandaVision in some fashion. She mentioned that. And I said every single time we talk about it on this show, I wish it was tomorrow. That's like my most anticipated thing. All right, guys. So we've actually got a special edition episode today where we're actually going to be focused on an older movie from 2004, but it's actually going to go into next week, which is actually going to be our Army of the Dead review, which is the 2021 version that's coming out on Netflix. So we are talking about Zack Snyder's Undead. We thought it would be awesome to do technically a double feature show. And this week we're going to talk about Dawn of the Dead, which is the remake that Zack Snyder did in 2004, which is obviously a take on a very loose take on George Romero's classic Dawn of the Dead from 1978. I was born in 1978, and that's one of those movies I pride myself, being born in that year of release. And as much as we like to, bring, superheroes and stuff into the fold, me personally, I've been working in horror for over 12 years, and I know these two are very passionate about horror. So, we just wanted to open the door for, everybody, when it comes to fandom. And, it's Zack Snyder. He did Justice League and Batman and all that stuff. So, it all works.
It does.
2004's Dawn of the Dead was written by James Gunn, and his name is written all over that movie when it comes to comedy and, certain beats and all of that stuff. So you had this, duo that were, pretty much, I know Zach at the time had done some music videos and stuff like that. And I believe James Gunn was just off, a huge trauma run. So he wasn't really familiar with the blockbuster world. So you had these two, guys that, brought this, homage to George Romero together. And I really think it's superior. It's a superior remake in so many ways. But you know what? I want to see what you guys feel about it. What are your thoughts on Dawn of the Dead, 2004's Dawn of the Dead, Diana?
I don't know. Anybody that knows me, they know I'm very passionate about zombie movies. I have a bug out bag in my car and under my bed. Dawn of the Dead is one of those movies that sticks out to me, mainly because of the birthing scene. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys are as traumatized about that as I was. And also that movie, it kind of puts the viewer in a position of if we were in that situation, especially in the beginning of the movie where the main character gets into her car and she's driving through all the chaos. Mm-hmm. It's just, that movie kind of got me thinking, like, what would actually happen if I was just doing some random mundane task and then the world just went to hell?
Yeah, like you're just hanging out with Colby, and then all of a sudden this little girl walks into your house and bites his neck, and then you're just thrust into this situation.
Yeah, what would you do?
Yeah.
I remember this movie and I do not remember that scene. So apparently my brain has done something to protect myself.
Blocked it out.
Yeah, because I'm like, what scene are you talking about? My brain has completely eradicated that from my memory bank.
It's a very gruesome scene. I thought it was very memorable, but it wasn't overly done. It was just enough to kind of drive the point across, I think.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing about it. I mean, this is a very low budget, believe it or not, for a feature film, this is very low budget. And, you could see right away that Zack could take any amount of money and make it look spectacular, from the first frame. Just the color scheme that he used, which is kind of like, greenish tints and hues and stuff. So, that blood has, like a little bit of a darker, like feel to it, as it's like, trickling down people's necks or whatever. But that's still, to me, like one of the best openings I've ever seen. When you've got Johnny Cash's When the Man Comes Around and you just see all the zombie chaos going on. It's phenomenal. And you guys haven't seen Army of the Dead yet, but there is another one like that, and I'm not going to spoil it, but it's also amazing. I mean, like, I was absolutely in love with this movie from the start. And I'm a huge, George Romero fan, and I love the 1978's Dawn of the Dead. I think it's, it's a classic, and it's just, it's perfect in so many ways. But I love that Zack didn't, he wasn't trying to mirror that. He wasn't trying to shadow George. He wanted to do his own thing. And that movie, if you put them together, if you did a double feature, that movie, they don't look anywhere near each other. It just happens that they're in a mall. That's the only thing that's the same. Everything else is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what did you guys think of the actual, like, because there's this fight that goes on for years. We're all part of it. We all understand what it is. There's George Romero's shambling zombies, and then there's the fast zombie. Honestly, I don't mind the fast zombie. I think it's really cool. You know what I mean? Because there's no getting away from that at all.
Zombies freak me out. I'm a Trekkie, so, like, sorry, but the Borg, the Borg and zombies
You're a
are
Pop Jedi team member. Do not be sorry for being a Trekkie.
basically
This is the right place.
those two freak me out so bad because it's that loss of control thing. So zombie movies always like scare the crap out of me. So like whenever it comes to like the fast zombies, I'm like, no, I'm out. I don't want it. I don't want anything to do with that because it's just so scary to me because it could happen just like such a split second, like we were saying earlier, is like you're just kind of thrust into this realm, and it's like, man, it's just so terrifying because then on top of that you also, witness people, fighting each other, or like, hiding bites and being like, I wasn't bitten, like, and then all of a sudden they're like a zombie now. So like zombie stuff scares me so bad that I'm just like, oh.
The other thing about it is too, like, I don't feel this personally, but have heard from people that, like I am, to many degrees to them, like technically a horror scholar or whatever, you know what I mean? But like I'm not in a position where I'm just like, well, actually, like if your body atrophied and you, like ended up losing your ligament, in your leg, then you wouldn't be able to run that fast, whatever. No, dude, listen, take those zombies, put some track shoes on them, raise those stakes, and that's exactly what Zack Snyder did. And it was so much fun to watch, man. It was amazing, just to see those zombies run as quick as they did. I was totally into it.
And I'm so excited for Army of the Dead.
I do believe that was the film that he actually used like real people that are amputees and people like that. So I thought that was a really cool little extra thing that, he gives back to the community, because a lot of those people would probably love to act, but a lot of people, they would snub their nose at those people, whereas he's like, you know what, let's make you zombies, let's do this, like, let's do it. So that had to have been a lot of fun for them, and I just kind of think that's a really cool thing that I did.
Well, also too, like I mean, like Sarah Polley, I remember from Go, around the time that movie came out.
I love that movie.
Oh, me too. I always loved Go. That's where I was introduced to Timothy Olyphant.
It's my Christmas movie.
But like the cast that they assembled was like, that was a perfect ensemble cast. And the thing that's really hard to do when it comes to any film is to make you like either despise or care about every single person within that within that group. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he absolutely did. Ty Burrell, even him, the douchebag that he was, I was laughing so hard, and that's the guy from, he became the guy from Modern Family, but he was so amazing in Dawn of the Dead. He was such a douchebag. I think the other thing too is like, we all have our feelings on Zack Snyder. But even if you're like very anti Zack Snyder, there is no denying this seems like the window for him to be able to jump out of, because a lot of people can't say that they don't like this movie. I think this is kind of like the saving grace. Like, oh yeah, like I hate Batman, but you know what? That Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
I hear a lot of people say that. And that's for a reason. But that just shows his abilities right away to, be able to take a property like that, to do any kind of remake in horror is just like a Herculean feat. And be able to land and make it successful and have people like it. Like, I'm sure that feeling's pretty intense, because, especially if somebody's passionate about something. I love a lot of remakes. People have like big issue with a lot of remakes, and I don't. I think the best way to put it is Sam Raimi actually did an interview one time, and he said, basically remakes when it comes to horror are technically like campfire stories. Not everybody's going to say it the same way, So that's kind of how I look at it. And except for the one that I'm really livid about now is the one that Catherine Deneuve and David Bowie did back in the 80s called The Hunger, and they're remaking that. I'm not happy about that at all. Like, that one's dear to my
American
heart.
Werewolf in London. When I heard about that, I wasn't very happy because that movie's just perfect the way it is.
No. I didn't hear that. No.
Yeah.
I'm
no.
sorry.
So, like, when it comes to Dawn of the Dead, do you consider this like one of your favorite like zombie movies, or like, is it just like, oh yeah, I'll watch it, whatever. For me, it's definitely in the top 5 for me.
Yeah, like 28 Days Later, I think that has to be one of my favorites of all time.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yes. And then, yeah, I do love George Romero's, but Zack Snyder's version of Dawn of the Dead, I think that was awesome. I think I was 14 when it came out, and I was all about that movie for the longest time, and I still am. And I think one of the best things that Zack Snyder did with this movie is it has his trademarks on it, like with his
Oh,
logo.
absolutely. Like, Richard Cheese, like all of a sudden, like out of nowhere, doing
Yes.
Down with the Sickness. It's like, what?
And the effects are larger than life. Like, it's amazing. So.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just, it was a perfect time capsule. It came out in 2004. So I graduated in 1997. So, I was like 5 years out of high school or whatever. So I was still like in my early 20s, so like all that stuff was like, like, oh my God, like Disturbed's at the end of the, like at the end of the movie and stuff, like, it was just perfect timing, from like, being a particular age or whatever. But I think this one stuck out. I think this one is definitely, one that people still talk about. I love it, and I talk about it all the time.
I don't know if you guys think the same, but I think that this movie definitely stood the test of time, because I rewatched it yesterday and it doesn't feel aged at all.
No. Well, I mean, some of the music, yes, but that has to be expected. But those characters and and everything within doesn't, it doesn't lose their luster. You know what I mean? Like, it really doesn't. It really resonates probably more now than it did then.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you guys have any final thoughts on Dawn of the Dead? And like, since it is next week, our Army of the Dead review, which I can't wait for you guys to see, because I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of different perspectives. It's going to be divided, I think. I loved it, but I think you guys are going to feel.
I already know that I'm going to love it, so.
I think that I'm going to like it, to be honest. Again, I have a love-hate relationship with the zombie movies, just because they do freak me out as bad as they do. But as far as it goes, it looks really solid.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Solid.
And not to get too much into it, because it is next week, but Zach wrote this story. He was directing. He's cinematographer. I mean, this guy went all out. And I will say this without revealing anything, because like, she's been doing interviews and stuff. Tig Notaro, you would think, was on the set from day one. That CG is so perfect. The fact that she wasn't with the rest of the cast, because when that scumbag Chris D'Elia, or as they say in the talk shows, the actor that got canceled from the movie, she was obviously like included in, and she she didn't really work with anybody. She was like looking at tennis balls, she said, and like, this is how tall Dave Bautista is, so look over here, that kind of thing. It's so flawless. You would think she was on the set from day one. She
looks amazing in it. Like,
oh yeah.
I'm really excited to see this.
We said it on the episode. We said it on an episode before. If there's ever a problematic guy in Hollywood, just drop in a lesbian. That's the best plan.
Like, oh my God. Like, I really can't wait to see her in this.
And she's fantastic in it. And believe it or not, considering that she's not in it, with the rest of the cast, she does have quite a bit to do, which is awesome. It wasn't like, she shows up for 5 minutes. She's throughout it. So, any final words on Dawn of the Dead? I will say, I think it's, as I said before, it's a superior remake. I think, like Diana was saying, it stands the test of time. And, it's definitely, it's a time capsule for not only, a certain period of film, where, we could actually go to the theater and have a good time. And it wasn't just about, like, oh, you need
before
to think about this,
times.
I needed whatever. But it's also very indicative of where Zach was going with his career. Because you could tell, like, in his own way, when it comes to action, when it comes to, like the visual aspects of things, that he was, I mean, it's such a heavy word, but, he was an auteur in his own right. Like, that guy was just going to make, a huge career for himself.
Yeah.
You knew that right away. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I love Dawn of the Dead still to this day. Any final words, Di?
I don't know. Like I said, I loved everything about that movie. It was huge. It had a lot of Zack Snyder's trademarks in it. The zombies were awesome. And I'm just really excited to see the more intelligent zombies that he's going to bring in Army of the Dead. So it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, I won't even get into that, but Yeah, that's awesome too. You guys are really gonna love that aspect of it as well. So that's our show, episode 13. Please join us next week when we continue our Zack Snyder zombie conversation with Army of the Dead 2021. It's on Netflix this Friday. Go ahead and check it out and come back here and we'll talk about it. Again, please like and subscribe. It helps us get out to more people. Thank you very much for your continued love and support. From Jenna, Di, and myself, thank you. Have a great night. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.